So, this is the Halloween episode of Listen.
I mean, it's kind of perfect. It's dark outside and it's raining.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna put something out there for you guys because we don't have that much production, and according to the lore and the whole canon of Listen, this one is not actually the fifth episode. The fifth episode is already recorded.
Yes.
So this one is gonna come like in between the fourth and fifth.
Yes, we'll call
so
it
this
Halloween
one doesn't
special.
have an episode. This is a Halloween special
Yeah.
that doesn't count
No.
in our.
There's no number. It just has a title.
No, it just has a Halloween special.
Yes.
Like imagine like an episode or something that was just put out there.
It's like we're treating you guys.
This is not a canon Listen episode.
Yeah. We're treating you guys to an extra one. Not that you guys asked for it, but we're gonna give it to you.
We're gonna give it to you. And since we don't have that much production yet, when the song starts, when our intro song starts, I want you to imagine it a little bit spooky, like.
Oh yeah. Can we do that?
Maybe, but yeah. So, but for now, since we don't have the production value or the budget for this,
can we just sing it? Can we just sing it? I forgot what the song sounds like already. Oh yeah.
So just imagine that for a second.
People are like, you just did it.
Well, no, we're putting that image on you so that when you hear the song in a bit, you will imagine that. If you have a very Halloween version for the intro song, let us know. Like record it, send it to us. I don't know, but yeah.
After we've already posted it, but keep going. I digress.
Yeah, we're gonna start this episode. It's about the Craft movie, sequel, reboot, whatever called the Craft Legacy.
Let's start this episode so I can talk some shit.
We're gonna talk about it. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Listen.
I just want to mention that he did that weird counting thing again.
I do that so we can have a space there. Oh my god!
But you go 2, 3, 3, 2, 1.
I don't even know. Like I'm looking at you so that you don't laugh. But yeah, this is a special Halloween episode.
As we mentioned
before, where we're gonna talk about the Craft movie.
Yes.
I mean, this idea also came up because me and Jimmy really liked the Craft movie.
No. Let's clarify.
Yeah.
The Craft is one of my favorite movies.
It
ever.
is.
And it is still, when I watch it today, I'm like, it's a masterpiece. It's a good one. Like, it still stands the test of time. I see eyes in here looking at me, trying to contradict me, but I stand by what I say.
I stand by you 100%.
And after seeing this movie, that just confirms more for me.
Yeah, those eyes, by the way, are Martin, Jimmy's boyfriend. He's somewhere out here, like silently listening,
silently judging
us.
Let's
but you know,
clear.
that's why he's cool in my book, because he's judging us while we're doing this. But it's fine.
Completely.
But he's there. All right.
So okay.
So wait, and remember, I think we talked about it. It will come up on the fifth episode that we did a bit of a thing. Like, wouldn't it be awesome to have like the Clueless aesthetics with the Craft story melted together?
And this is what this movie is.
Oh yeah, you better 100%. Be careful. This is also a case of be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
I mean, you got, because listen, I think that the Craft has that Clueless thing, and it's like a darker version of Clueless with witchcraft and everything. So like for me, it already had that. So the problem is you wished for it and you got it, and I had to watch that fucking movie.
Maybe I have the power.
Listen, you did not invoke Manal.
I am with Manon.
You no. Listen, if there's anybody that's got a minimum, it's me. So I'm gonna put it on. Can we revert back to the Kinks episode?
Yeah.
Which hasn't been released yet.
Not
Stay tuned.
Or
To be continued. That's a reference to the movie, by the way.
So,
which was a bad reference.
We really liked the very first the craft mode. Back in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't do research on the year, but because this is not important.
Yes, we have our producer.
Our producer here
that just fact checked us.
He's gonna fact check us. I think it's 1996.
Yes.
Because I remember like when it came out, there was a bunch of like specials on the visual effects of the craft. At least I remember seeing them on. This is gonna reveal my age. Discovery Kids. Like how they do it. I know. But it was like movie magic stuff, and there was a very special episode on the craft. So it gets people.
I actually would like to watch that instead of this movie.
Oh yeah.
As you can tell, I'm not a fan of this new movie.
Spoiler alert.
But can we start with a good? Can we just kind of briefly go over what we liked?
Was it 96? Yes.
Can we briefly go over why we liked the first movie?
I personally really liked the whole occult mystic theme, but also now that I watch it later on in life, that I've watched it later on in life, it touches a lot of very different subjects, like being outcast and the whole non-consensual stuff and like all that. So the themes that it touches are really valid to at this day.
And I mean, it's sad that some of these things are still valid today, but I think that was the most powerful thing about that movie.
And they are not, in my opinion, they are not the themes in the craft movie are not portrayed in a way that's going to be quote unquote cancelable today.
No, and I think they did it in a way that was very realistic. It's some like the part in the first movie, if you haven't seen it, then like just delete the podcast because anyway, but in the first, she makes isn't it Chris? Anyway, the guy that she makes fall for him.
The popular dude.
Yeah. She makes fall in love with him and he becomes obsessed with her. And then there's this attempted rape scene and it's very harsh and it's very like dark. And I think the part of it does it in this way that is exactly how some people have experienced such a thing. And so this movie touched on very dark and realistic themes and experiences for people, and they did it in a way that was harsh and realistic and also not cheesy.
Yeah, exactly.
Because because that's the problem that I know I'm jumping to the negative before I finish the positive, but the new one was so cheesy, so Disney. I'm not going to jump.
No,
okay.
We're not going to jump.
Positives. The craft, the first one.
Now that we talk about the craft, because if you haven't watched it, in Iceland it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix in Iceland, so it's probably on Netflix. It's probably
everywhere.
Everywhere.
If Iceland has it, everybody else has
it.
I'm not bitter.
Yeah, no. But
I bind you, Netflix International.
But you can probably watch it on any other source where you get movies. I don't know if you're in the States. Maybe it's probably on Hulu or or whatever. But this new movie was also available on streaming services, the Craft Legacy, and I sent Jimmy the trailer, and I was like, I have mixed feelings about this. I really do, because it's that thing where they're taking something from the past and putting it into the present, and I don't know.
Because here's the thing. 3 different people sent it to me. You, Marce, and my best friend Kylie. So I saw it and I was immediately skeptical, because the problem that I have with remakes is that they try and make it so current that a lot of times they disregard the original and trying to make it cool for the now. And so for me, when I saw the trailer, I thought it has very kind of cringy moments, but it also looked like it could have some good moments in there, right?
I personally went in there after judging a little bit. I went into the movie with an open mind because I was just hoping it would be different.
Listen, so did I. But about 5 minutes into that movie, I was like, okay, I know which road we're going down.
Yeah.
But okay, one thing that I wanted to say about the original is that I thought, as with the themes that they touched on, I thought it was very nice to see, which I think that when they do, the original is, north, south, east, and west. So you have like kind of 4 different personalities, 4 different powers, which I thought was really great. And then they had characters of
and they all
some different backgrounds, not completely, but they had, a white trash, a burn victim, they had a black girl, and then they had the girl that was the outcast. It was a natural witch and everything.
But also was like preppy.
Yeah, and it was, they were all in that preppy school, but
no, but
she was the good witch, if you could say. She was the Glinda, if you would pull a Wizard of Oz
but
reference.
The interesting thing about that is that all 4 of them, even though they were very different, they all have their different agendas to what using magic was about.
Yes,
and they all had their different takes on what they wanted to do with magic. So there was one that just wanted to get the racist girl to like feel the pain that she had been inflicting her all this time. The other one wanted to be quote unquote pretty because she was a born victim, so she wanted to get the scars taken away. The preppy one, I don't really think she had something.
She was just kind of, because she was a natural witch, she just kind of was the power charger of all of them. Like she
was a catalyst.
Yeah, exactly.
But Nancy.
Oh my god. Listen, I am a Sarah, but when I think about this movie nowadays, I'm like, Nancy was where it's at.
You are in no way, shape, or form Sarah. You are like straight up Nancy.
What?
Yes.
Listen. I am obviously a Sarah. What do you mean I'm a Nancy?
If you had all the power of Manon, you would totally be Nancy. You would totally Nancy it up.
Actually, now I think, don't look at me like that. Listen, I'm obviously Carrie of Sex. We're going. That's a different reference. Sex in the City reference. For the people who can't hear. But I'm obviously Carrie and obviously Sarah. But now I think about it, I might be a little bit of a bitter bitch. # bitter witch. Oh, that was so horrible. That was such a bad joke.
But if you were drunk with power, you would totally Nancy things.
Who would you be then? You would not be Sarah. Don't you fucking say Sarah.
No. I am true to myself, and I am self-aware that I would not be Sarah.
Would you be? You would be Bonnie then, if there's any of them. You would be Bonnie, Neve Campbell. Which, by the way, I love Neve Campbell.
Maybe. I mean, I think I would also be Nancy.
Like, yeah, you've got. I mean, we both got Nancy. Yeah. Let's just say this: we both have Nancy and Sarah in us.
That's why. Probably.
I mean, with the movie, because I'm black, I always have a Rochelle with her, and I like her.
With the movie, like this Nancy character, is the one that takes the whole movie.
Yeah.
She is the craft.
I mean, it's kind of because when you see, this is one thing that I wished that a first movie would have done, was to dive deeper into Bonnie and Rochelle's stories, because I thought, like, okay, great, they had a black character. I loved her. I think she's great. But you didn't know anything about her storyline besides that she was the black girl in the like all white school, right?
Exactly.
I mean, pretty much, or that's what it looked like. And so I wish they had like took more into that storyline, and then for Bonnie, we just see that she's got scars, and they don't actually they do say burn scars, But like, where did that come from? What's kind of her background like there?
Yeah.
So then what essentially what you get is you get Sarah and Nancy. And obviously it's apparent because in the last part of the movie there's the final battle and they're the two strongest witches is what it feels like, you know.
Exactly.
And the other two girls of the chorus goes in the background, you know.
But the thing is, Sarah was the strongest witch because she was a natural.
Yes.
But Nancy was also strong because she had invoked Manon and she was drunk with power. Yeah. So it became also like, so there's a bunch of things to unpack from the first movie. Yes. And so again, it touched racism, it touched body images, it touched being drunk with power and getting back at the people who hurt you. It also touched
love, and it also touched teenage kind of topics, I felt like, because it had this, you know, I always imagine like me, because I have mostly girlfriends, so anytime there's 3 other girls and me, I always imagine walking down the hall with slow motion with the theme music and my boobs bouncing. You know, like I always imagine this moment and being like, oh.
And How Soon Is Now by Morrissey playing in the background. Because that's the theme song.
I love that song. She's a lot like you.
No, that's not.
Wait, what song are you talking about?
I am the sun.
Oh, that one. Because I always think about the Tattoo song, but it is right.
Well,
but I always think about that song.
Tattoo covered it. The song,
yes,
but it's originally by Morrissey, I think.
Yes, but I want that. I want the song. She's a lot like you. A dangerous. I don't even know. You don't know that? Okay, no. Whatever. But listen, now let's go to the bad part. Yeah. Okay. Which is the remake. Yeah. Now, the Craft, the legacy. Don't even start.
Now we're gonna talk about the Craft legacy part of the thing. But if you haven't watched it, this
is the time to stop listening to us.
Spoiler alerts. We're gonna talk about the movie. We're gonna give details because you guys really have to. There's so much to unpack.
Listen, spoiler alert, don't watch the fucking movie.
or watch it so you can suffer with us.
I mean, I do want people to kind of converse with us to watch both of them if they've seen the other movie. But the other thing is
it's a perfect Halloween thing to do.
It is. Can I dive into it? Can I just dive into this? Because I just want to say this. This movie felt like 3 different movies in one. True. It felt like they were trying to take the Craft and take the most iconic moments and shove them into a movie, which they did that in like the first part. Of course, they had, you know, the moments of light as a feather, stiff as a board. They had like the most like quotable quotes in there and stuff like that.
But this is the thing. I mean, all of these things is fan service. Like all of the iconic moments are fan service. Mm-hmm. So that's also something to balance. Like if you're doing a remake, how do you balance the fan service, the things that people want to see again, played by other characters?
But I do not want to see that. Like if you're gonna do a remake, people might. But those people are losing. But because it's so cheap, because it feels like instead of making your own original movie with an own original thought, you're just taking from something. And I think it's okay to take the essence of something and like breathe from that, which was what the other 3 storylines were kind of doing. But like the first part of it was like, just going to copy.
Let's start first and foremost with the opening sequence of the movie, because it was exactly the same as the very first movie.
Exactly.
Just remastered HD plus.
And then to make it a throwback, you know what fucking song that they used? Alanis Morissette. Yeah. So they're trying to make us feel old.
That was the very first why?
Which I did.
Yeah. So one of the very first scenes is Lily, which from the trailer you assume she will be the Sarah of this movie. Yeah. And she's singing Alanis Morissette with her mom, which that doesn't happen in 2020.
Listen,
you don't have that.
Don't pull it. Don't try and pull it. And they did have the sequence where they were calling the corners, by the way.
It would be cringier though if you if you had mother and daughter like singing to Billie Eilish or something like that, it would be even worse. Like,
I would have vomited. I would have said, "Listen, let's just not do this episode."
Or Doja Cat.
But I fucking love Doja. So
I know.
Okay, I'm probably gonna get canceled for doing that because people were trying to cancel it, but I don't care.
So you have that, and you know, mom is moving in with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
So that, you know, stepdad for Lily.
Yeah.
And
then she meets the brothers,
like,
her three stepbrothers.
The thing is, also, I don't think this doesn't happen. Like, mom tells Lily, like, I thank you for being so cool with all of this. Like, something that I haven't connected with someone like this before. Like, you don't tell your teenage daughter that you've had very good D, even in those words.
I mean, wait, did you just say very good D? Because
Yes.
I just realized what you just said. Yeah, that's pretty much what she was saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are all those kind of relationships. But I just thought, what a real tacky way to do it. It's like a real tacky way to be like, I'm a cool mom. And do you know the drag? I'm pulling a drag queen reference now in this again.
Of course.
Sherry Vine, she's got this thing on her Instagram where she's like the cool mom. She's like, you guys want some wine? I got some box wine. She's like, I'm the cool.
She gave her wine.
Yeah, exactly. Or she did too in the movie. The actual mother in this Craft movie, she was like the cool mom, so she gave her the wine and and danced with her. And I mean, it was so tacky. It was so cheesy.
It's a bit like
cringy.
I don't know if that kind of relationship exists, but whatever.
I mean, me and my mom are close. Okay, we've talked about like our crushes and boys and like stars that we think are cute and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's on a different level.
It took me a while, even though my mom is really cool. Also, it took me a while to like cuss in front of her, or like have a beer or something in front of her.
Yeah. That was a weird, awkward moment when you first do that with your mom.
Yeah,
like
but
drink with her.
But I don't know.
Which, by the way, hi. What's your mom's name?
Marjorie.
Hi, Marjorie. I just want to call her out because she sent me a message, or she sent Danilo a message about orchids, and I'm like, I'm so happy that somebody. I'm going off topic here. We're going on a tangent, but she sent me a message asking me if the orchid was alive.
So bring it back.
Yes.
So, mom and Lily move into
the new house.
The new house
with the stepdad with the three
Scully.
sons.
Is it Scully or
Scully?
Yeah.
From X-Files.
From X-Files. I don't even remember his name, but I have it here.
Is it? Mulder.
Well,
it was Martin's crush.
Yeah. So.
And by the way, which is fucking hilarious, the movie starts. Mulder, Martin's crush from childhood, comes in. They're wearing the same exact sweater. This black, white H&M dad sweater.
Yeah. So they
gray, whatever.
Move in. You know, here are your stepbrothers. They are like super not excited to meet her. Whatever. I mean.
And he says, by the way, they're excited to meet you. And they do this weird reference with the snake, which is referencing the first movie.
With the first movie, with the homeless person.
Yeah.
Coming up to Sarah like, here I have a snake for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Anyway, let's keep going. We're gonna try and not make this an hours podcast, but you know.
But when we're kind of close to getting there. But the other three girls were talking before that they needed a fourth because their rituals are not working because they need a fourth, and they're like, they were really they were just debating that, but then on there they realized that they need a fourth or whatever, and then it happens that when Lily moves in, like she starts looking into the house and she finds out that this Adam guy is a kind of like a lecturer.
Yeah.
Like
her
if you're
toxic masculinity.
Yeah, if you're in Iceland, he's like Karlmennskan.
Yeah.
So he has like I by the way, like I really love Karlmennskan's work.
Yeah, but let's not also tie them two together because the end of the movie.
But it was funny when I saw that and it's like, oh, so she moved into Karlmennskan's house.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a lecturer that tries to debunk toxic masculinity and all of that, and there's like a bunch of articles and like things on the wall
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like a
yeah,
book,
yeah.
blah,
That
blah, blah.
stuff.
So fast forward to her first day at school, Lily's first day of school, and she goes into her period right on class.
When you say she goes into her period
Like
on class,
she gets her
she
period.
gets her period.
Sorry.
Yeah, because
She doesn't go into it.
Yeah,
She
I was
just
saying
walks in.
because you would say in like I'm going to my period number 5, which is a class.
I
but
got
she
the
has her
two
period. Yeah, yeah,
conflate-
yeah.
I got the two conflated.
But the thing is, the guy,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be like the popular guy in this
Yeah.
movie, makes fun of her, of course,
Out loud, and
Yeah.
who humiliates her for getting.
which that
Her
was it.
period.
That was like the only part of the movie, oddly, that I liked, because I had that moment where I was watching it and I thought like, what a fucking asshole he was.
I
like,
know.
That's such a, and of course, a guy at that age doesn't maybe realize it, but I was like, oh, I felt so bad for her watching it. She has her period, and then, but it brings the girls together,
Yeah,
so the coven together from that moment.
But that's one weird thing, because she gets her period, and
It's a symbolism if you think about it.
maybe, but then they were all like, all the three girls were like, oh my god,
They went to her rescue. Because I thought about it too. I was like, what does that mean about her being a witch?
But they looked at one another as if like, this is the fourth. Like,
I know, but I think they looked at her because they felt bad for her because the guy was an asshole. It's then supposed to be making a reference to the guy from the first movie being an asshole to her.
Yeah.
This whole thing. Because that's the thing. It was so...
Yeah, but I felt
the references connecting everything
I kind of
was so wishy-washy.
Yeah, I kind of felt to see that I just felt like, oh my god, she's bleeding. She's the fourth. It's like...
I think they were trying to be sisters, and I think it was supposed to be this girl has her period, and so they're going to go and try and be nice to her.
Yeah.
And then from that moment... Because I think what the second movie was trying to do was trying to be like girls can stand together.
Yeah.
As opposed to the first movie where they pitted them together.
Don't give that message, because that happens later in the movie.
I know, but they don't know that, so it doesn't matter if I mention it now. But that's the whole thing. That's what I took from it, is that like it's changing this aspect from the first movie to the second movie, which I like that idea. I like the idea of women standing together rather than pitting them against each other. And I thought that was a beautiful idea. Yeah. But then you go further into the movie,
and it becomes cheetah girls with powers.
That's exactly what it was, because their powers were like, because the elements are earth, fire, wind, and water.
Yeah.
And one of the girls, like a cheap movie trick, pulls fire from her finger.
Oh my god!
And like, it's just
that was
tacky.
That was cringy.
It was so tacky.
That was cringy. That's just. I don't like when I imagine the craft and witchcraft in that context. Mm-hmm. I don't imagine you being able to pull fire out of your hands.
This is not Airbender.
It's more like that. This is not the Avatar.
Exactly.
I imagine it more like being able to like put intention out there and like move things, like what happens, but or like by doing chanting and like, putting in the intention out there and like all of that.
Because I would say that's the thing with the first movie that was tasteful, is that I remember hearing about it that they had an actual Wiccan on set, so it was like more accurate and stuff. And then the second movie, it was like a Disney cheetah girl version of The Craft, which made it so cheesy and.
Yeah. But they went to her rescue, and then they told her that the three girls, Frankie, Tabby, and Lourdes. If you ask me right now after seeing the movie which one is which, I would probably not be able to tell them apart, because I don't think they really made an effort into making them individuals. Like they were all three. The other three were always together.
Always together.
Like in the first the Craft movie.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. Like in the first the Craft movie, there's parts from the movie which is this is Rochelle's point of view.
Yes.
This is where Rochelle comes from. This is where Bonnie comes from. This is where Nancy comes from. So you have all of that. These three girls that were looking for the fourth.
They were like one entity.
They were always together.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was no way for them to look at them as individuals, and they never actually even say their names that much for people to get them.
No, and I think the other problem too is then they just like they tried to put too much in this movie.
Yeah.
They put the craft idea in the first half of it, and then the second half of it, first of all, there's like a whole recipe to this movie. So they have, the black character, then they have the girls, and then they have a trans actress, which I like.
Cool.
This is great. I love inclusivity and stuff like that. And then from there, they cast a spell on the. Well, I'm moving on. I'm trying to keep this podcast going, so we're not 120 minutes into this.
Go on.
So from meeting each other, they decide they're going to do these spells, and they go and they see that they have all this magic, and they do all this stupid shit. And one of the stupid shit is they're going to cast a spell on the popular boy like they do in the first movie. But the thing that they do with the popular boy is they wake him up. Now he's woke.
Yeah.
And now he's like speaking for, he becomes woke and he's sensitive and stuff like that. Okay.
They
fantastic.
made him into a social justice warrior.
Yes, exactly. So from there, then you have him being close to them. Okay, whatever. So because then it was like you add a boy into the craft idea, which is fine.
It was super cringy to have that boy there. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's cute, but that was like whatever. He's from also this another movie which I liked him in. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he.
I gotta make one point before you move on.
Okay.
Before you move forward, because there's one
I want to
part
get past this movie.
before you move forward, because they even had this moment when they were talking, the four of them together, that oh my god, the spell worked, and they were even like making a satire of like, oh, in third period he was talking about he was cisgender, and in this before lunch he was talking about heteronormativity, and I felt like even though that they kind of made it seem like the guy was getting woke. I kind of felt like they were mocking all of those concepts.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, what are you doing? Are you trying to wake a person up, or are you trying to mock them because they got
you put a spell
better
on them.
Yeah, you put a spell on them for them to be quote unquote better.
Yeah.
So what are you girls doing?
Yeah, I don't know. And like that's the thing is, then you had this moment, and then you see that he's kind of like pulled to Lilith, this main character, this sort of Sarah of the movie. But then from there, he comes out as bisexual, and he's had a gay experience with her stepbrother.
One of her stepbrothers.
Yeah, one of the stepbrothers. And then there's this whole drama, because then from there, he comes out to them, and they're like, wow, it's amazing, blah, 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 blah. Then he ends up kissing the main character, Lilith. And the stepfather comes in and sees this, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. From there, the next day, he's committed suicide, they say. And
wait, but you're missing a little bit.
Okay.
You're missing a little bit.
I crossed, because, listen, I don't want to give all the details. Because
no, but this detail is very important.
Okay, it was really a ridiculous moment. She finds the boy's sweater in her room, because they were in the room before when he came out to the girls.
And straight up
sniffs it. Which, when I think about that, that's fucking creepy as shit.
It is.
Because if it would have been a boy sniffing the sweater of a girl, we would have been like,
dude,
no.
Yeah.
Okay, so she sniffs it. Then she casts a spell. a love spell, of course. Which, by the way, he was obviously into her.
Already.
So it was so stupid. It was so pointless.
Yeah, that. But not only that, but she casts the spell, and then she takes the sweater a little bit further south.
She starts masturbating, is what we're trying to say.
So this episode is already not for kids.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell before.
Yeah, and it's still a more or less PG movie, because when they find the stuff to cast the spell on Timmy, I guess.
Oh yeah.
To make him better,
Yeah,
they imply that they found a condom, a used condom.
Yeah.
So with already the most powerful human essence.
Exactly.
So
by the way, they broke into his fucking house. Let's just talk about that.
Let's just talk about that for a minute.
They found the key to his house, broke in there, and they weren't being quiet. They were like giggling and shit. I'm like, listen, you break into somebody's house.
First rule of breaking into a house:
shut your mouth or whisper.
Exactly.
Don't talk.
Novice. But do you remember, like, they imply that it was a used condom?
Yes. And they didn't show anything.
And they didn't show anything. Like, one of the girls had like their hand out there, and
then the shadow of the girl, the silhouette,
other one, like,
the silhouette of the girl.
They did that, but they heavily implied a girl masturbating scene, which I don't know.
I mean, the whole thing was just really tacky.
When that happens, Timmy comes knock on the door, and then, have you seen my sweatshirt? No.
And then she's like pretending she didn't see it.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's skip to he's dead. So he's dead, and then the girls, like, they're freaking out. They're so sad, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then Lily says that she confesses to them that she feels like something's not right, and that she cast a spell on him to make him, like, a love spell. She's like, it was a stupid love spell, blah, 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 blah. But they said that before this, they were saying, like, we've already cast one spell on him. We have to be careful. We have to agree if we cast any more spells or whatever, that we agree on it together. So because they did not agree on this love spell, they automatically get really
ape shit on
they're
her.
Like, they turn their back on her, blah, 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 blah. And then, is that the point where they say that they should take a break from
magic? Yeah.
Yes.
And then later on, they have the three of them again together. The other three girls have the discussion of, like, we should bind her. And then they were like,
but then they said they're gonna bind them.
Her first, and then I guess Tabby, the fire girl, was like, well, we're not any better.
That's
like,
that's true.
So
she did say
I
that.
was like, yes, girl, yes, you are dropping the necessary truth in this discussion.
Yeah.
Like, because one of them was like quick to say, like, let's just bind her, and the other one was like, well, we're not any better. Yeah. Like, if we're gonna bind her, we should all bind ourselves, because we are also not the best by breaking into this guy's house.
But they said too, which I thought was another interesting thing, because it was about, like, it's about being kind of politically correct. This idea of consent, like, Lilith didn't get his consent to put the spell, and then they said, yeah, but we didn't have his consent either to do the spell, so we should bind ourselves. Which I like. There's bits in this movie, like little key points that I was like, okay.
And also they were gonna hex him, like the idea.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were not trying to put a spell on him to make him better. They were just trying to hex him so he could just get a bit of karma for being a douchebag.
Exactly.
So they were improvising there with the breaking and entering, and also they changing the spell the last minute. I don't know, but then fast forward to that part. Then Lily goes. I don't know if she can't sleep or something, but she walks down and finds Katmenskan guy and finds Katmenskan Adam. I say Katmenskan because it was. I think it's a funny image to say. But I'm not putting down Thorstein or Katmenskan. I really love their joke. But found Katmenskan in a circle of, like, power and some weird rant about power, and only the strong survive and the weak have to be filtered out and blah blah blah. And then he calls to his son, that was the one that was Timmy's best friend,
Timmy the popular
and
guy.
he was like, no. And I don't know, it was some weird ritual, some weird masculinity ritual where
just to make him cry.
Scream at my face, son.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know. So, that ritual had no sense. And then the funeral.
Yeah. And at the funeral, oh wait, you forgot.
Yeah, I forgot.
Because Lily, her mother comes in and says, we should leave, we should go somewhere. And Lily is like, okay, yeah, whatever. But then before they go to the funeral, for some reason, I don't really know why, she decides to go into her mother's office because her mother is a psychiatrist or a therapist or whatever.
I don't think it's clear what she does.
Well, she says, my mother is from Philadelphia, a therapist from Philadelphia, I think. But whatever. That's why they put that specific part in there. So it makes sense in the movie why she goes down to her mother's office and starts looking through her files. And obviously, her mother, who wrote this movie? It's so bad. Who wrote this movie? She goes into her mother's office, like any fucking recipe of any movie, and finds the file on herself, which then she finds in the file of herself the adoption papers. So she finds out she's actually adopted. And from finding out she's adopted, she cusses out her mother, but then they still have to go to the funeral. And she goes to the funeral and she tries to talk to the girls to talk about, her mother. And the girls are like, we're not going to talk to you. But at the funeral,
totally give her the cold shoulder.
Yeah, they blow her off.
If you're at her house, why are you also don't go to the house? If you're gonna blow her off like that, then don't go to the house.
It was stupid.
Yeah, it was very weird. But I think we also both forgot about the part a little bit before that Adam Cartman runs into Lily, because this movie for some reason is full of not being able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And walking into rooms where people are doing stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But yeah. Okay,
yeah. But this is
finish your statement.
So,
sorry.
So he first comes in and he says sorry for being tough on her and trying to raise her as he did with the boys and blah blah blah, and he shows her the family crest or something.
Yes.
and gives her a bit of a rant on what's the family crest is about and the symbolism and stuff. And then he was just like, okay, yeah, I think I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed. This exchange didn't last 2 minutes, and then he says to her, to be continued, which was the same thing that Timmy told her before
he died.
After they made out. And that's why this whole Timmy dying didn't add up to her.
Yeah.
So when he tells her to be continued, he's like, oh my God, something happened. This is the thing. And then she goes or trying to get her, and then the girls are like, no, we're not going to talk to you because you broke the covenant or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the other thing that I thought, okay, because now I feel like we have to tell him to watch the movie because I don't want to say the whole movie. But the thing is that Timmy was such an asshole. And in the beginning of the movie, when the girls find out that she's a witch, she uses her powers to push Timmy off of her because he was whispering some bullshit into her ear.
Yeah.
So you see her use her powers. And so the girls then send a telepathic message or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So from that moment, the stepfather starts being real fucking shady to her.
Yeah.
So he says you can't be this way towards my son. And then there's this whole kind of drama, and you start getting this real obviously shady vibe. I mean, and to be honest, from the beginning of the movie, I feel like you get a shady vibe from him.
Yeah.
So okay, whatever.
From the moment he started to raise her.
I mean, I feel like I got a shady vibe when he was like, let's take a picture from your vintage camera. And it's like, it's not a vintage camera for the reference, because that's a camera from your age. So don't try it, bitch. Yeah. So the thing is then it's all like kind of creepy, blah, 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 blah. And then you get this exactly to be continued moment.
Yeah.
And then because that's the thing. Then you went from the craft to this Timmy waking moment. And then you get to this other part of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is the whole.
So like there's the evil within the house or whatever.
Yes.
Like the external evil or something.
Which is the men, by the way.
Yeah. And I was thinking that cause like, okay, so this guy is apparently the bad guy. Mm-hmm. So he's Nancy. Like or something. But and then she has a vision, Lily. Everything happens around Lily. Like the other three girls don't
exist. They're the background girls.
They are totally the background girls. Like you have the two Latinas, but like one is Latina looking and the other one is the trans Latina girl, and then the black girl, and then you have Lily, the white girl, 11 looking girl.
Yeah. 11. That's a reference.
Yeah, she totally looks like 11 from Stranger Things.
She does actually.
Like 11 season 2 from Stranger Things. Like haircut and all. Yeah. And then she has a vision of like knives and murder and snakes and shit and Cartman's can being behind it. And then she tells her mom. Her mom's like, no, we have to go through the funeral and then we just leave. Go to a sommerbostad.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what the reference was. We're gonna go for the weekend to sommerbostad. Yeah, just sit in the hete potter.
Yeah,
the hot pot.
And then forget about this thing.
Watch the Northern Lights.
Yeah, she
really wasped that shit up. She's like, we're just gonna wash past this whole thing. We're not gonna acknowledge because I
am getting the good D here.
Exactly.
Please don't ruin this for me.
And the daughter. and can we mention one other thing too, which was fucking creepy, because the oldest brother, the brother that this Timmy slept with, by the way. Yeah, we're spoiling the whole movie, honestly.
But I mean, we said Timmy, spoiler alert.
Timmy slept with the brother. I don't remember his name.
The brothers are not even. You can't even tell the brothers apart.
And let's also point out that they chose the oldest brother, which we don't even know anything about. There's like nothing that we know about besides he plays video games and he's, kind of pretty. He looks like a vampire or some shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, the Twilight references.
Yes, and the Twilight. Creepy. I mean, the whole movie, it was just trying so hard. And like, it was like young people, so they were wearing these things and using these catchphrases. It was so cringe.
And at the end, towards the end, there's apparently the mom that goes to her and she has.
But wait, mention the brother. What she wakes up and the stepbrother is in the room. You see his shadow and he's sleepwalking, and the other brother randomly is looking for that brother that's sleepwalking and goes into the room of Lily. Again. Yeah, it's just so weird. If it sounds like we are all over the place, it's because this fucking movie was all over the place.
I told you at that part. Jump scare in 3, 2, 1.
Exactly.
Like, why are you making a jump scare? All of a sudden, the thing with the Craft movie, it's that it makes it scary by being dark in nature, not by having jump scares.
It's kind of a mini psychological thriller, the first Craft, when I think about it. Like, it has this kind of, I mean, I said
teenage
mini,
psychological thriller.
I mean, but it wasn't even that teenage.
Yeah.
So. Anyway.
But I get where you're coming from.
90s psychological thriller.
I get where you're coming from. But yeah. So later on, we have mom that has packed everything to get her to the Sommerbostad. Sommerbostad is like a summer house here in Iceland. Mm-hmm. It's an Icelandic name for that. So,
a log cabin.
Yeah, log cabin. So she had packed everything and she's like, let's go. And then she's like, but why? What's happening? And then she's like, I'm gonna tell you the truth and all of that. So I want you to be to trust me and blah 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 blah. because I know, let me carry your burden and all that stuff. And because your power is dangerous and everything.
It's a curse.
It's a curse. Let me carry it for you. And then she snaps at some point there and she's like, you're not my mom. Because my mom never said that my power was dangerous or a curse. She said that my power, the difference was my power or whatever. Like being weird was her power. She should embrace it.
Some stupid fucking shit that some writer thought.
Like, remember what I always tell you.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it said. Remember what I always say. I'm like, no fucking parent says, remember what I always tell you.
Don't do drugs.
Exactly.
Remember
and by the way, that child is obviously doing drugs then.
Remember what I always tell you. I don't know. What do you always tell me, Mom?
Write better. Be more creative in your writing and don't pack too much stuff. It was like a Ryan Murphy show. Anyways.
Yeah. And then that's when she snaps and goes like, you're not my mom, because my mom never says that my difference is dangerous or whatever. And then lo and behold, is Cartmenskan that transmutated into her mom. Or shapeshifted.
Yeah, he shapeshifted
into her mom. And it's like, what?
Reference to the first movie.
Yeah. What the actual fuck?
What the actual bad writing fuck? Like, why are you going to use that in a reference? And because the thing is when you watch it, you see everything before it's actually going to happen. So you're watching it and you're like, I bet this is going to happen. And then it does, and you're like, well, that's fucking boring.
At that point, in the shape-shifting stuff, I thought that was Nancy. But no.
You were waiting for Nancy.
I was totally waiting for Nancy because, the movie is called The Craft Legacy. Mm-hmm. And in the trailers, there is a picture of Nancy being bound or something. And you're like, where is Nancy? If this is the legacy, what is the legacy? Like, there's no reference to the other 3 girls from the first movie. Everything in the trailers is about Nancy. Give me Nancy, for crying out loud.
I think he wants Nancy. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
And this guy is there, and he's like, I'm gonna take your power, because the only way that you can take a witch's power is that she has to consent or something.
Yeah.
And
a movie about consent.
So we're gonna have to do this the easy way or the hard way. And then, of course, good writing. Lily says, you're going to have to kill me first. And then he goes, well, the easy way then. How is that consent?
Can we just erase this movie from the legacy of the world? It is so
How is
bad.
that the easy way? Like, if you had said, oh, then the hard way it is. Okay, you would at least know that some shit is kind of going down.
And taking her out into the woods, which I know this is a very far reach, but it was like the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood.
And she also tries to, like, power him.
Yeah, to use her powers because she, pushes people around with the powers.
And then he goes like, your powers don't work, because guess what? Your girlfriends bound you. Like, how do you even know these things?
Exactly.
Like, maybe you could feel something, but if you say, like, maybe your friends did something to you, so, like, I don't know.
It's a line that doesn't need to be said.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be said.
And if she's bound, then how? Well, maybe because she's the Sarah there, even though she's the natural witch there.
Yeah, she's a natural witch. Yeah.
If she's bound, then she manages to send a message through a Ouija board to the other 3 girls.
No.
Yeah.
The message for the Ouija board was from Timmy, because he said he killed me. Which, by the way, how the fuck did they know that he was the stepdad? Because then he wrote, he killed me, Timmy. So the message was there.
I thought he was her.
Sarah, yeah.
And then that's where I asked, like, if she's bound, how does she manage to do that?
Yeah.
Because if you already try to force push him away, then how do you? But it doesn't even make sense. Also, like, how.
And how did they know that she was there in the woods, wherever they were?
And also, guess what? When the Ouija board starts activating, all the 3 girls are hanging out together when they had said that they were gonna take a break from magic.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, let's just.
and then the final battle happens.
Of
you know,
course.
Catalmanskan between versus the girls.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where the running joke from Catalmanskan also pays off, because he's like, you made him Timmy weak into your image. We are supposed to be queens and dominate.
No,
kings.
kings.
Kings, sorry.
Don't you fuck with him. He said kings.
He's gonna.
He's a man. He's a manly man.
He's gonna appear and pull my feet at tonight. Like, please don't.
Like he's for real about to do that. Please don't. I'm just gonna put this out there. Please don't actually do it.
No. And then he's like, yeah, we should be dominating you girls. That's probably that's basically the whole spiel.
He's pretty much saying men should be over women. Blah, 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 blah.
And you should be in the kitchen instead of doing magic. We should be doing magic. And then by something they start glowing with the they glow their own elements, like the fire girl glows orange, the earth girl glows green, the other girl glows blue, and the other I don't remember. And then oh my god, they all have powers and things, and they can throw stuff.
I mean, yeah, they had all these powers that were connected with their elements.
Yeah.
But that's the other thing. It goes back to that thing that it makes it so cheesy.
Yeah, I mean, the glowing thing is like, what is this? Sailor Moon? Like...
I mean, if that's where we're going to go, then don't call it The Craft, because that it just...
Call it Sailor Moon. I don't know.
Sailor Moon was my shit. I liked Sailor Moon. I liked The Craft. I did not like this movie.
No.
I mean, it's not that you guys couldn't tell from now.
and then the guy is...
He's vanquished.
But he at the beginning, when that first battle happened, which that battle lasted for like 3 minutes.
3 minutes too long.
Yeah, and for some reason he pushes through the powers. And sends all the girls away in different directions
with his telekinesis.
But that's his undoing, because all of the girls happen to be north, south, east, west, and they start chanting stuff, and then boom, he's dead. That's it.
I mean, it is so stupid.
Like the Adam guy, the Catmanskan, he doesn't even like scream in pain or something when he's being vanquished.
Doesn't he just look at Lily and he's like, Lily, no, or I don't even know what he says.
He doesn't even. Like,
it doesn't even matter.
He's just like, thanks for getting me out of this movie.
Exactly. Exactly.
I think that's why he doesn't say anything, because he's thankful for being killed off this movie.
I mean, and then so it's supposed to be then the girls all come back together. They standing together. Okay, I like the message, but the writing and the whole concept is so bad. And from there, then we circle back to the adoption thing. Who is her actual mother?
And then mom goes with her for a road trip to find the actual mom. But I think that we're not going to say this part. Are we going to say this part? Because
I mean, we fucking said everything else. We might as well just finish it. So
they go through this. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so they go to the road trip. They end up in a psycho ward, and who do you think is Lily's mother, which her full name is Lilith? And who else in the original Craft movie would name her fucking daughter Lilith besides Nancy?
Like all these,
which by the way, it was the actual actor.
It's actually
Famke. No, it's not Famke. What's it? Farusabal.
I that's the only part where I totally lived.
That's the only part I liked about the movie.
Yeah. And that's basically the only thing that makes this whole movie be legacy.
Exactly.
Because at the end, in the final 10 seconds of the movie, you see like side boob, but side Fairuza, side Nancy.
And then you see her face. You do see her face. But the thing is that I hope she got paid a lot of money for that because she's the only thing. Like when I watched this movie,
Like she
I'm like,
is the memes nowadays.
Yeah, God, I love her.
Yeah, she is the memes nowadays.
You don't even exist to me.
Yes. Like I was hoping she would see something like that to her, but no. I mean, it would make
that would be
hour.
a fifth movie exactly.
Yeah. But
so, in conclusion, you've just listened to us. If you've listened to us, don't watch the movie. Watch the first movie and support the first movie. The legacy is not much of a legacy.
Or
it's
watch,
an embarrassment.
Yeah. Or watch the movie. It's like the craft legacy is like you had hopes for your kid, and then your kid turned up to be an accountant.
I mean,
well, no disrespect to accountants.
So, whoa, you just got canceled. If you're gonna watch it, then you might as well have something to drink with you because it's the only way you're gonna make it through it. And then when you're watching it, just say things out loud because it's the only thing that saved me. I was supposed to save all my thoughts for this podcast. I couldn't hold them, and yet here I am. How long? It's been an hour.
Yeah, it's over an hour, over an hour.
I mean, of course we are over an hour because I could not.
Because there was so many things to unpack from this movie.
Yeah. So with that said, let's say bye.
I would say watch it and comment it with us.
I say just comment on the first movie and don't watch the second one.
This episode is gonna come out just now. It's gonna come out tomorrow.
Yes.
So
on Halloween.
Well, yeah, on Halloween. So we're actually recording on the 30th.
Yeah.
So
All Hallows Eve.
So it's gonna be a Halloween episode, and oh my God, I don't know. I give it a 5 out of 10.
I gave it a 0 out of 10.
I mean, it was entertaining.
I give it a 1 because they brought in one of the original actors.
Well,
I'm going to give it a 2. I'm going to give it a 2 because they had some messages that I think are important. I think the idea of women not being pitted against each other. I think the idea that we shouldn't be embarrassing women for periods, and I think that waking men up. I think that idea is a good thing.
But it was satire of.
I mean, it was a satire, but I do think that his character was okay. It wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
Like in the whole run of things. But besides that, it was 2.
Adam mentioned something like that. Adam Katwinskan.
Yeah.
Mentioned something like that in the final battle that this is why you don't hang out with girls because they don't use their powers against one another or something. It made a reference on how the girls in the first movie would use their powers against one another. Like it was a direct reference like that. But it was neither here nor there in the context of that battle.
It was so stupid. Anyway, I'm so...
Yeah.
Listen, I enjoyed the evening with you guys, but it's a 2.
Yeah. I give
Barely.
all my 5 stars to those 3 seconds where Fairuza Balk appeared. So that's why this movie gets 5 stars for me. And all those 5 stars go to her.
Okay, people. Watch it. Let us know what you think. Listen to this. If there's any other movies you want to throw at us, we would watch it.
Yeah, what are your favorite Halloween movies?
I mean, I need some COVID movie watching. And I don't mind having a glass of wine while with it.
Yeah.
So
until the next time, which is going to be the 5th episode. This is not the 5th episode. This is the Halloween special.
Yes.
By the way. Until the next time, then.
Bye,
bitch.
Thanks for tuning in for this messy episode of Listen. If you want to share the spotlight with us and tell us how you feel, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at lstnpod listenpod, or send us an email at lstnpod@gmail.com. Until then, bye bitch!